Hi everyone, my name is Fumi. I'm one of the practice development nurses and I'm also the medical device trainer for the Trust Clinical. And I'll be covering today's session on medical device awareness. When we think about medical devices, what we mean by that is any medical product or equipment that is intended for medical purposes. So, with that definition at the back of our minds, you can tell that nearly all clinical staff will use a medical device on a patient on a regular basis. So, it is important for us to understand the safety of these devices and how to use them appropriately with patient safety in mind. And with medical devices, we have them in three distinct categories, and that's active implantable medical device. And with that, we're thinking about our pacemakers, our ICD. We also have the in vitro diagnostic products, and then the general medical device, which I'll be speaking on today. So, how do we manage medical devices? These devices help us with diagnosis, monitoring, rehabilitation, and caring for our patients. So they play a very key role in healthcare and delivery of healthcare with regards to patient safety as well. And there are a couple of regulatory bodies that are responsible for ensuring that these products are used the way they have been intended to be used, and the reporting system is also being followed. So we have two organizations. We have the Medical and Health Product Regulatory Agency, and they're in charge of safeguarding the public health. And by public health, we mean our patients, ourselves, and they are responsible for medicine, so our drug administrations, vaccines, and stuff like that. And they are also responsible for the medical devices bit of it. Then we have the Health and Safety Executive, and they are responsible for sharp safety. So today's session covers both medical devices and the safe use of sharps. So when you think about MHRA, what do? So they are a guide to good practice and on implementation. So not only do they provide policies, they also ensure that organizations respond to and implement whatever recommendations or guidelines they have set. They also issue safety alert warnings. So recently we had to issue an alert with our tympanic thermometer because the company did report it does overheat. So that alert came in from these organizations and into our trust. And they also act as the UK competent authority, and they regulate the medical device industry. So before any medical device can go into public use, they have to go through the MHRA and also go through the individual organization EME, as we have in this trust. So when you think about that organization, we have a medical device group also in the trust, and this group is responsible for developing policies that manages medical devices, and they also review the effectiveness, and that's the effectiveness of the policy. And we do audit reports around patient safety and clinical risk committee. So you have the risk management, you have the patient safety group, and quality and risk management. And with addition to that, they're involved in and they directly oversee improvement of communications about medical devices within the organization. So when you have data access coming out out of a medical device, these groups are responsible for following that up, learning around that, and reporting it as well. They also analyze, audit data, and also address any risk to minimize harm to our patients. And when some of these safety alerts come from the MHRA, it goes through this group and it goes out to the staff group through communication. And the MDGs are also responsible for the coordination of education and training support. And with this group, they create policies, and the medical device policy InSash is in place and it is regularly reviewed and updated as at when due. And one of the things we do is ensure that we use our medical devices for its intended purposes and it's used in line with manufacturer's guidelines. So when you go onto the SASH intranet, go on workspace, practice development, you have your medical devices group there, and you're able to have a read through just to understand what some of these policies are. And what we also do is risk management with medical device. So if you have a good medical device management, it will greatly assist in the reduction of their potential for harm. So following these policies, they are there to make sure we minimize or eliminate some of this risk if we can. So that's by providing training and access to manufacturer's instruction, which we have on our Trust intranet. Also the reporting system and making sure we are documenting some incidences that we have on Datex so we can follow that up and learn from them. And also responsible for issuing safety alert warnings when they come in from MHRA. We have a RAG system that we use to risk assess some of our medical devices. So we have the green, amber, and red system. So for initial training and update training, they vary a lot. For every single medical device, you're meant to have an initial training with a competent person. So that can be your practice development nurse within your area. That can be your someone that has gone through the trainer session, or the practice development team corporate, just to go through these trainings with you. And of course, we expect that you sign competencies with this learning, and these are proof that you have the learning has actually taken place. So in terms of training, staff training is very key when we think about medical device safety, and this is so as we can minimize and eliminate, if possible, risk to our patients and staff. So we advocate, and it is in the policy that you only use devices that you have been trained on and are competent to use. And as healthcare professional, we have our professional duty to ensure that our skills and our trainings are up to date, and the safe use of these equipment, it's on us, and we're therefore accountable for our actions. The trust is responsible for ensuring that the healthcare professionals, and that's the staff, have access to training facilities and activities, and we have so many study days around our medical devices. And you can, if you need training on a medical device, if you need help with a medical device, just reach out to the practice development team and we're able to support you. There are a couple of learning pathways that we have created for our medical device. For new staff, we have our ward induction, and that's when we go through the basic monitoring devices. So you have your ECG machine, you have your bladder scanner, and you have your OPS machine as well. So we go through these medical devices because for the first couple of weeks you're in the trust, you're still learning the ropes, but these devices help us carry out our roles and responsibility quite effectively and efficiently. So moving on from that, then we have our IV full course study day, and with that comes with the use of infusion pumps. And from there, you can go on the subcutaneous study day, and that comes with the use of our syringe drivers. In addition to this, we run bespoke sessions. So if you have members of staff within your areas that have not been trained on a device and you think it will be of use to the department and of use to them and around patient safety issue, you can reach out to the practice development team, and we're able to come and we can book in a bespoke session to support that area. We also have drop-in sessions every Monday in our training room, Florence Nightingale training room, and that's between 4 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. And that's where we can support you and sign off some of this competency that you require. Speaking of competency, every member of staff, like I said, is expected to just use medical devices that they have been trained on and are competent to use. And there should be evidence of training and competency. And that's why we have our medical devices competency booklet. We audit this booklet every 6 months, and there's an audit going on right now with all departments. And this is not just in line with the trust policy, it's also a CQC requirement. So every member of staff using the medical device should have it on the ward, either electronically or paper copy, so whichever form you prefer, but it should be kept on site at all times. And some of these forms are self-assessment forms, so it is you signing saying, yes, I feel competent and confident to using this medical device. There are a couple of safety issues around how we handle our medical devices, and I usually run through it during the training session. And just as a reminder for every one of us, safe handling of medical device is very important and that's around patient safety and staff safety as well. We want to use the acronym CHIPS, and C is for clean. So you want to make sure your medical device is clean. If it's not, most of our medical devices, we wipe them down with our green cleaner wipe if they're from non-infectious areas. Then you think about housing. Where is this kept? Is it safe where it's kept? Do you say your bladder scanner, for example, we advise that the probe be kept in its handle and not just on the top of the trolley, so it doesn't get ruined or damaged. Eyes inspection, so we're just doing a visual inspection, making sure the cables are intact, you don't have any breakage in the integrity of your leads. And P is power. For most of our medical devices, they have to be kept in charge, so it's ready for when anyone is ready to use them. And S is servicing. We need to always look out for the EME sticker first, and that shows that it is from our trust. And secondly, we also need to make sure we have the service dates on there. So if you find any medical device that is due for service, please do not use it. Pop on a red sticky label on it and report it to EME so it can be removed and serviced appropriately. So the next couple of slides, or 2 slides actually, just looks at some of these medical devices I've been talking about. So we have an infusion pump and our syringe drivers and our nutrition pumps. Some areas have the Braun pump and some areas have the BD pump, and we'll just for some of the areas they still use the BD pump. Training is ongoing, so staff get familiar with the Braun pump before the other one is phased out. And then we have our monitoring devices. We have our bear hugger, the OBS machine, and the ECG machine. If you have any devices that you require training on, just reach out to the team and we are more than able to support you. Okay, so I'll be moving on to SHARPs. So the Health and Safety Executive is responsible for SHARP regulation, and they advise or advocate for unnecessary use of SHARPs. So in situations where it is not possible to do that, then we're thinking safer SHARP use. We're thinking do not recap your needles and always have your SHARP box close to the areas you're working. And that's why we have newer SHARP boxes in the trust in most areas, and you can find the SHARP Smart SHARP boxes around. And these can be placed on a trolley with your tray right on top of it, and you can move it to your patient bedside so you can discard your SHARPs at the point of use. And the good thing about these is that they have a wider base, so you're able to, it takes more SHARPs, you're able to dispose your SHARPs at the point of use and appropriately, and you don't overfill the SHARP box. So you can put in your cannulas, your needles, and a metal instrument. Because it has a wide base, it can, couple of things can fit into it, And some of the things we don't want to find in this sharp box is dressing, swabs, paper cups, and cleaning packs. Also, you shouldn't have your vials in there because we have a separate box where you can actually put your medication vials in. And depending on the areas where you work, we have the orange, lead, yellow, purple, or blue. And the blue is the one we use for our medicine bottles. So your vial, your Oromorph bottle should go in the blue lead containers. So when we think about safe handling of sharps, please do not resheath your needle until you're ready for your procedure. Never recap a needle. Of course, please do not walk around holding an unsheathed needle. When you think about the safety of your patient, your safety, and the safety of your colleague as well. Do not leave used sharp to be disposed by someone else. The WHO guideline says whoever creates waste should discard it. So in the event of sharp's injury, because these things do happen, I would advise that you gently squeeze the wound to encourage bleeding. Please don't suck on or scrub the affected area. You can wash the areas with soap and water and cover with a waterproof dressing. And when it comes to terms of reporting, if it's within hour, Monday to Friday, between 8 and 4, aside from public holidays and weekend, you can report to the occupational health. If it's out of hours and bank holidays, then please report to the ED. And of course, we're reporting all sharp incidences on Datex because that's how we learn. So with Datexes and incident reporting, if you have a medical device that has been involved in an incident, it must be removed from source and quarantined immediately. And all near misses with sharps, with medical devices, should always be reported via Datex as well. If you require further information around medical devices or sharp safety, please reach out to the practice development team in AD45. You can also send us an email at sash.practice.development, or you can use the extension 2686 and someone would speak with you and address or signpost you to the right person if that's required. So that's all it about medical devices awareness. Thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of your session.